So Malawi's President Lazarus Chakwera has announced the death of his deputy, Saulos Klaus Chilima. Chilima was among 10 passengers of a plane that went missing on Monday. Officials have since located its wreckage and found no survivors. President Chakwera has conveyed his condolences to all the victims' families, describing Chilima as a distinctive man of honor. But let's now bring in Malawi's Minister of Information, Minister Moses Kunkuyu, joining us live now from Lilongwe. Minister, a good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I can just imagine just how difficult it was to gather the information of what it is exactly that took place on Monday. But take us through really the first sightings of this crash and when you had the confirmation, certainly that the Vice President had passed.
Thank you very much for standing with us. Malawi is a country in mourning. We are in a state of devastation. This is something that has never happened, not anything closer to it. And involved in the crash was the sitting Vice President of the country and 8 other passengers. So a correction there, it shouldn't be 10, but 9 altogether. And this also included a former First Lady. As you might be aware, that on Monday, that's when the flight was reported missing. And immediately the president ordered that a search and rescue mission be deployed. This was done, and it was, of course, affected by the bad weather that was there. It was raining, it was foggy, and then it got dark as well in the thick of the night. So the efforts still continued by the Malawi Defense Force. And come the morning of yesterday, the search efforts continued. And around midday, somewhere there, that's when we got the news that the wreckage had been found. And sadly, we had lost everyone that was on board. Yeah. So, as I said, the Vice President and 8 others on board, we lost all of them.
Yeah. So
the President addressed the nation, breaking the news, and has also declared the mourning period, that we're going to mourn the Vice President for a period of 21 days.
All right. Our 21-day mourning period. You mentioned, of course, the former First Lady, Shanil Zimbiri, also killed in that military plane crash. I mean, one thing that is certain around when you've got these sort of incidents and crashes is the difficulty in identifying the bodies, the state of the bodies, and all the work that's necessary then to help families identify bodies. I mean, talk to us about a very difficult conversation this is, but I'm sure a difficult process as well for officials.
We thank God that it hasn't been that difficult. All the bodies were identifiable on the site. So all the bodies were collected from there in a properly identified manner, and they were allocated to ambulances that took them to the helicopters that ferried them to the capital city, and they have gone to the mortuaries in a very identifiable manner. As we are speaking now, one of the departed, Mr. Abdullah Bukeni, who was of the Muslim faith, is going to be buried today. So we are at the morgue as we are speaking to send off that body. So wouldn't would not really run away from the fact that some the bodies might not be in a condition that would really find it easy to observe other rites, as we know they are associated with funerals like body viewing and all that. Obviously, those kind of rites will be foregone in some cases.
Yeah, I think that what's also really sad about this is that essentially the passengers were attending or on their way to attend the funeral of former Justice Minister of Malawi as well. But let's talk to us about the events prior to the crash. I believe that the Vice President had just arrived from Korea.
I was in the company of the Vice President in Korea. He left Korea. I saw him off in Korea, and he got home safely. And the following day, if not the same day, that was on Saturday, we got news of the passing of the former Justice Minister, Honorable Raphael Kasambara. They were very good friends, apart from all of them having worked for the government. But these gentlemen were together at the university, so they were friends. And he thought it was necessary that although he was tired from the trip from Korea, that he thought of taking time to go and pay respects to the former Justice Minister. So it's really a devastating period because it's like things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, a lot happening at the same time. Talk to us a little bit about the legacy that you think is left behind by the Vice President of Malawi, certainly from the role that he played within government, but also in private sector in the country.
The president described him as a good man. That was an attempt to package everything about Saulos Chilima. Saulos Chilima, the shortest words would be a good man in every sense. A good man when it comes to serving his country, a good man when it comes to being a visionary person, a good man when it comes to being a family person, a good man when it comes to being a compatriot, a good man when it comes to a God-loving person, a good man when it comes to driving the private sector where he has worked for a long time in his life. A good man in every sense. He dedicated his life to serving others. Saulos Chilima was a good man.
And the 21 days of mourning, I mean, talk to us a little bit about the sort of process or procedure that we're going to be seeing over the next 21 days as Malawi is in mourning.
This is a state funeral, so obviously everything about it will be handled by the government. The president has formed a ministerial committee, 11-member ministerial committee that will oversee all the arrangements of the funeral and also the observance of the 21 days of mourning, the activities that will form the 21 days of mourning. What is happening now, the sending off of one body this morning is also spanning from the same arrangement that has started from the ministerial committee that the president has put in place. We are meeting in the next 1 hour to start the initial program. That is to say, in liaison with the family, where are we thinking of giving the former vice president his burial? When should that take place? What other activities should surround the funeral arrangement? So by midday today, we should have a sketch of the program as to how we are going to conduct ourselves in the next 21 days. But one notable thing is that all the national flags will be flying at half-mast in these 21 days.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. We really do appreciate it. That there is the Minister of Information in Malawi, Mr. Moses Kunkuyu.